Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies full. We're going to be dealing with two natal charts, birth natal charts, to find out if these are twins and learn more about them. The first natal chart we've already done, but that will be the one to the right. This time the male is on the left because that's the one we're really going to be looking at. The female is on the left. The male is on the left, the female is on the right. We'll be looking at the male on the left. Now, as always, I check everything out to make sure before we go further. All right, everything checks out. Now, it was very interesting. This is the one I hope everybody really listens to, because a lot of times people don't have the time. So you ask the question, can the archangels get the time? And I say they usually can. I've seen them do it very well, and I'm learning to just ask for clarity. The system usually goes, if you don't know the time of birth, just put 12 p.m. But I ask the person, well, was it daytime, nighttime, morning time, early, mid, late, later? Ask questions like that, because I always try to get that time, because it'll really help with the analysis. And we ask the archangels, they're very accurate. And then sometimes you just have to ask for clarity. If you don't understand the first time, you ask for clarity just to see what happens. But one thing I noticed about the archangels, usually if you do it the first time and you feel like you need clarity, but they're usually giving you messages, because the archangels are always giving messages. That's why people are always seeing synchronicities and numerology and everything going on, because you've always got the spirit realm trying to give you some type of message. Even when you're sleeping, your subconscious, you can get messages. So it was very interesting when I asked for the time of birth of the male, because we've already done the female. We're now doing analyzing the male to see if they're twins. So I asked what was the time of the male's birth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards came. One was Azrael, number 10. He's the 10th house, that's Capricorn, and he said counselor. Next card was Michael, which I always consider Michael AM because he's connected to the sun. But it wasn't necessarily a sun card. I'm just making that assumption. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But that's what I did. But Michael wanted the persons to know they're safe. Next card was Zachiel, which is number 3, which is Gemini card. He's the 3rd house, so I'll put down number 3. He talks about clairaudience because, again, I believe both of these people have extrasensory perceptive gifts. Next card came out was the number 7 card, Jophiel, which is Libra, which is the relationship. So once again, you have the twins with Zachiel and Libra with relationships with Jophiel. She says clear your clutter or clear your space. Then the first card that came out was Ariel. The number 1 card, Ariel. Aries is her sign. And she says courage. Because if we are going to do this walk, it does take courage to do this walk. I just posted a new video on my channel you're listening to on YouTube, Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. And I'm Gat, your host, in case I forgot to say welcome, but I'm pretty sure I did say welcome. But Eve, space E, she's very good. And she shows you how important it is to have courage. And she said something very important today. She said that there's a difference between a human and a being. Even though they say human and being, they're actually 2 different words. And I knew that myself, but she kind of explained it in a different way that I never looked at it that way. So she definitely helped enlighten me. And that's funny because that is her name, Eve. E stands for Eve, enlighten. Then the next card came out was Gabriel, which I consider to be a moon card because Gabriel deals with the moon in Cancer. But again, it didn't have the moon. I just took that understanding. And I'll get back to that card because that's the most important thing I'm going to say. This is why you should definitely listen when the teacher's talking. And also, you should listen to these cards because they're telling you something that's going to help you. So, I decided I needed clarity. So I went in again. I said, please clarify what was his time of birth. So then it came up Raziel, which is number 5, the Leo. Raziel said, take back your power. And then Haniel came with the Moon Cycles card. She is the Moon card. But see, Haniel loves to help. She always shows up. and tries to help. Haniel always does that. You can just watch my channel. You'll see when you ask the time of birth. If it's PM, she'll always show up. So then I knew it was definitely PM. See, that is a moon card. That is a PM card. AM being like a sun card or something. So that's definitely a moon card. So that, in my opinion, because I know Haniel is faithful, she's also the high priestess in the tarot card. So she's telling you it was PM. And then the next card was against 7, Jophiel, which is a Libra. Again, she said, Jophiel says patience, get outdoors, have a garden, get out in nature, and have patience. The journey you're on, have patience. So, taking the clarification cards, 5 to 7 p.m., and I decided to go with 7 p.m. And I think I was going to go with 8 p.m. if I remember. I honestly forget. I think I was going to go with 8 p.m., but I said, let me just go with the cards. Because sometimes I do with intuition. And it works out pretty good. A lot of times, if it doesn't look like it's working out, I will go back in. It just depends. But I'm pretty confident with the way we did it. Ask for clarification. It was between 5 and 7 p.m. And again, let's say they found a birth certificate. They say, oh, I see you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about, but you have to understand the situation. There's a message that I have to give from the angels. Sometimes they give you a message. See, when you really had this intuitive walk, you don't look. See, somebody that's not like third dimensional or somebody that's carnal or fleshly, they're just looking for an argument. This isn't about looking for an argument. It's looking for a message, learning to use your intuition. That's why you had the card say clairaudience. Clairaudience, listen to what's going on around you. Because it's just a matter of going back in and correcting whatever time and keeping it moving. If the birth certificate was found. But it's not really to argue. Because if you stand out here and you watch these videos, you see how amazing these angels really are. But what was the message they're trying to give? Let's talk about that. Alrighty. So, I don't know what the natal chart will show. But what they're trying to tell you is, first off, one person is like a teacher, which is a counselor. So they could either be saying that, or they could be saying counseling. But when you're dealing with soul matters and twin souls, you have to have a counselor that really knows about twin flame and twin souls. And Michael will always show up, because Michael always wants you to know that you're safe. But Zachiel and Jophiel will let you know Gemini will be twins, or even communicate, because the third house is communication house. And Jophiel is relationship. So she showed up twice. Aries is saying, why is Aries or Ariel saying have courage? Because we're in third dimensional. So it's easy to say I don't want nothing to do with this. It's crazy. It's hard to understand. No matter what you do, it just seems like we don't connect. We don't get together. I got a job. I'm making money. So that's how we see things. We don't have the courage to trust the angels. Raziel says take back your power, the 5th house of Leo. Because again, we are power. That's why I said, as my friend Eve said, there's a difference between a human and a being. So if you're a being and you're here with these humans, you got to remember who you are. Because you're supposed to really be encouraging them. And that's why I pray. Oh, I'm a teacher. I want to teach people. That's why. Because you were sent here to teach. But not just teach this world. You also are sent here to teach the real world. Because we're in a matrix. This is an unreality. So that's why I can't stress it enough. If you're sent, you have to realize you were sent. And it is ways to find out, which is why the angels are waking you up. And then Jophiel shows up again and say patience, because you're on a process. Now, on this particular, these particular questions, so far I wrote the information in on your worksheet. But as we do your angel card questions, I'm not going to write the angels in, but you can listen, and you can even go as we go, because you're going to receive this worksheet. You'll receive 2 worksheets. The one I'm looking at right now, which is dealing with your angel answers and with time of birth. And then you'll receive your natal chart worksheet, which will have his information on there next to underneath yours. So the main thing I'm trying to tell you is whenever you see a guy that's sensitive, caring, or he wants hugs, or he wants attention, he can be an indigo child, he could be a crystal child, he could be any one of those sensitive children, a rainbow child. Or I hate to say this because people get mad, but this is why Gabriel showed up. Because on that card of leadership, Gabriel is androgynous. And on that particular card, Gabriel shows up in his feminine form. Because this is things we don't want to deal with. But this particular person, you can see it on the charts. They got some type of family group thing going on. Like this is a soul group. A lot of times when you see a highly dysfunctional situation, like mine was, you're dealing with soul groups. Soul groups. And you can see it on the natal chart. So sometimes you'll have a male that wasn't a male in a previous life. And you have to understand, we're only one. We're both male and female. In the beginning, there was just darkness. It was feminine. The divine womb, the divine mother. But out of her womb came light, which was masculine. So the sun is divine masculine, and the feminine is divine. The moon is divine feminine. But at the end of the day, they're both the same. Both male, female. That's your original twin flame, the yin and the yang. So you may have a guy that's walking around in a male, but he's more sensitive, more intuitive, more aware. And people will say, some people will say, oh, he's such a sensitive guy. Oh, he's so thoughtful. Oh, he wants hugs. Or they'll say, hey, he's too sensitive. This guy, you say one little word and he get caught up in his feelings. Or they'll say, you know what, I think this guy's gay. But they don't understand. And that's why I believe, personally, we're reaching a time where we could try to help these third dimensionals if we can help them. But you can't be surrounding yourself with third dimensional people. Because that's what happened to Joseph. His own family attacked him. And they tried to kill him. Tried to get rid of him. His own family. So you got to have a distance. Not saying you got to cut them off 100%. You got to do what you feel is best for you. But you can't put yourself so close to these people. Because these people are trying to kill you. Like I had recently had somebody reach out to me. And I understand where you're coming from. I got nothing for love for you. But the truth of the matter is, you've known me a long time, and you've never really shown any real interest in the spiritual stuff I'm into. Maybe a question here or there or whatever, but you've never shown no real interest. Now, every now and then you go through something where all of a sudden you have an interest, but it don't last. Then you go right back to the secular world. I'm not falling back for nobody. Not my twin flame, not nobody. I have allegiances to certain people, like my mom Duke, she's elderly, I got to look out for her, stuff like that. But other than that, I didn't come here for all this. Now, as far as I feel, this is my opinion. If we're family, then why do I have to worry about my well-being when I'm around you? Lying on me, starting trouble, possibly calling the police. All this kind of stuff that people that ain't my family don't do. So why are you doing it? So we don't know these answers, and we have to use common sense. You can't go somewhere where your well-being is at stake. That's just the fact of it. And this is why these people run from this channel, because I tell you the truth. You have a lot of people talking about, where's my twin? They don't even understand why the twin flame came your way. You don't even understand why you're separated, and instead of you being an adult and dealing with it, you're running somewhere else. Hoping you meet somebody that talks like this and love and light. Oh, and you fall for that crap. And then you're giving all your resources to somebody who can't even really help you. Where all I do is help people. Eve E is a perfect example. None of us are perfect. But here's a woman that came a long way because she heard what I was saying. And as she said, she already knew all this stuff. All I did was basically confirm what she already knew. This is what she says in her video. It's right there on the channel. It'll be the video right before this one. And she came a long way. She's like a courageous lion now. She's a courageous lioness. So that's what will happen when you go through the process. Not run from it. Not find a nice happy pappy channel that makes you feel good, but you're still not with your twin. You're nowhere near your twin. You got to go through the process. That's why you want the natal chart, just like this person's doing. They're going to ask some angel questions that's going to help them. You're getting closer to the process. And there did come a time when Joseph became stronger than his family. In fact, the family had to bow down to Joseph. People in my family that were giving me a hard way to go, they're mostly dead. The family has greatly changed. And though some of those people don't like how I've moved, they've come to respect it. Because I'm not putting myself in a situation where you individuals are going to set me up and try to get me locked up or killed. Because I know how you get down. So I have a lot of forgiveness. I'm not mad at anybody, but I also have a lot of wisdom to stay from getting lied on, because it's basically what it is. Get up in your face, start some stuff, a little bit of violence breaks out, and then here come the boys to lock you up. And then your whole reputation and everything you worked for the last 30 or more years goes down the drain. So you can't be around that type of environment. Yeah, I'll meet you, but I'm not going to meet you on your terms. We'll meet somewhere mutual. And as far as the whole twin flame journey, when you realize it's just a wake-up call, but that person's got to wake up too if you're in separation. There's got to be two people that want to talk. If you have a twin that's very immature, this is what Eve was talking about. The woman you see on my channel right before this video. If your twin is really immature, don't want to talk, acting crazy. He's out here all the time, disliking every video. Really immature actions. That person got to grow up. Keep them in your prayers and stuff like that. But until they're willing to talk, there's nothing you can do about it. Because the more you go to that person, the more they're going to keep flipping it. My twin kept lying on me, destroyed everything I worked for. But you should be building yourself up. Because as Evie said, as you build yourself up, your twin is still being built up. Y'all don't have to be together at first. So now, let's go into the natal charts. Now, as I said, the one on the right, we've already done. We've already went through that. We're concerned about the one on the left. This is the male. First house, ruled by Aries. Virgo's there. The healer. Virgo rules the sixth house, which is also about home, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know that the sixth house also has to do with home because they associate everything with the fourth house. But not really. The fourth house is family and your moms, things like that, which we will talk about when we get there. But the sixth house is also about home. A lot of retrogrades already. So you see Pluto retrograde, so you already know this is going to have to do with the eighth house, the soul house. And the first house is ruled by Aries. Aries is connected to the eighth house through Mars because Mars used to rule Scorpio. Scorpio rules the eighth house. So you're still dealing with soul connections, soul matters. And you see the number 22 right there, which is that twin flame number. Pluto retrograde can mean past life coming out of the eighth house. Pluto retrograde could also mean something external is going to hit, which is going to cause this person to change internally, which is Uranus retrograde. Uranus in direct mode usually means independence, opposition to status quo or the way things are. They try to make things be a certain way, where Uranus wants to be independent and doesn't want to fall in line. Well, like I said, when you see Pluto retrograde, that's something external is going to hit to cause an impact, and that impact is going to change that person internally. Again, the ascendant and the east point are really Eastern energy. Because even though this is the first house, you notice it says number 12. So it's still lighting up any area of dark dysfunctions. Goes right into the second house of relationships. And that is also the money house, because I keep saying relationships, twin soul relationships are always connected to finances in some type of way. And good fortune is there. That is the universe's. We take pleasure in its housing arrangements. Asteroid. That's what that asteroid means. The universe took pleasure in this particular house. Relationship in connection with finances and possessions. Doesn't stop there. It goes into the third house with Scorpio. But the third house is ruled by Gemini. So once again, you see those twins connected to the soul house, or the 8th house, Scorpio's house. And again, retrogrades. Mars retrograde, meaning a lot of past life struggle, a lot of communication struggles. But why? Because of that Scorpio, that soul connection. Because this is high energy, and that is it's no coincidence why Mars used to rule Scorpio. Now Mars rules Aries, and Aries says, I am. It's all about me. But Scorpio is all about that passion, that primordial lifestyle, that lust, that animalistic stuff. The wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I want the sex, but I don't want no commitment. It can even be those people who have no problem having sex and somebody getting pregnant and say, well, just get an abortion. I don't care. I got things I want to do with my life. See, it's all that I am. And then you have Neptune there too, because Neptune is taking past life through the subconscious, through Neptune, through Pisces. So you got all these communications going on from this person. And as you can see, it's basically all past life. When you move into the 4th house of family, nothing really there. Well, then you got Vesta too, the meteor Vesta, the asteroid Vesta is a lot of energy in the 3rd house. So this person wants to talk, but unfortunately, a lot of stuff they're saying is going to be of the soul matter, the 8th house matter, and the 3rd house, and the 8th house matter. And most people ain't going to want to hear all that, because first, they don't understand it, and plus, it can sound a little weird. And it is excessive. Because it could be excessive sex, want excessive attention, and stuff like that. And other people like, oh, come on, look, I got other things I want to do in my life besides lay up in bed with you or give you attention all the time. So that's why that person would be considered kind of weird in those regards. And some people can't talk about what's really going on inside of them because they already know if they did, they would be considered crazy. So they have to learn how to talk the type of stuff people want to talk about, sports and all that, but they can't talk about that. Like a lot of videos you see on YouTube, those people couldn't make it at a common job. Like you can't be a RFG chosen one talking about Satan and sports and stuff, and then go to work and try to talk to somebody about the sports or the Super Bowl and stuff like that, because you're talking about all kind of Illuminati, King James and stuff like that, and they're looking at you like, this dude, what's he talking about? He seems like a nice guy, but he's a little nutty. I haven't heard that stuff before ever in my life. And YouTube is for weirdos. I'm too busy. I don't have time for YouTube. So that's the type of situation this person might find themselves in. Now, again, the 4th house, the only thing there is Sagittarius, but it's his higher self. That's that. And Sagittarius rules the 9th house. It's the higher self, but that's in his 4th house. And Sagittarius is a healer. But you want to be mindful because the 4th house is ruled by Capricorn, which is ruled by... The 4th house is ruled by Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. Then it takes you to 5th house is Capricorn, which again, Capricorn can be about work. And that's not good to have in the 5th house because you want the 5th house to be fun. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Capricorn rules the 10th house. And ironically, you have the twins in the 10th house, Gemini. It moves into the 6th house, which again is Virgo. And that's what he's an Aquarius and Virgo. So not only is he enlightened, he tries to teach others, but he's also a healer. That's all Aquarius and Virgo. And he may even come up with innovative ways to do health things in sports and stuff like that. He may come up with innovative ways to be healthy or make things healthy or heal. Seventh house is ruled by Libra, and you have Pisces there, and that's his sun sign. So this is a really relationship-minded person, and he's going to be having all these 8th house communications and dreams and subconscious from the 3rd house and also the 8th house because of Scorpio. He's going to have all this going on in the 8th house. And like I said, that can make relationships difficult because he's getting hit with all of this, and then he's got Mercury there, retrograde. So they really wanted him to keep talking about the past life one way or another. He's talking about the past life, and even he might not say past life, but even if he says, you know, we need to hug more, we need to do this more, but he's really still going back to the past life. And as you see, the vertex cross is right there because that's the soul portal. That's the bridge or the portal that the soul leaves and comes back from. And then you still got healing there because of Chiron. And Lilith is there. And ironically, his Lilith is direct. Because Lilith likes a lot of attention. If she doesn't get it, she tends to go retro or retrograde. Or it can even mean when you see a Lilith retrograde, that means this person will feel they didn't get enough attention. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we go into your 8th house. If you notice, Saturn is real close to your 7th house of relationships. His 7th house of relationships. And also the 8th house. But the crazy thing is, you get to the 8th house, and now you don't see no retrogrades. So Aries is in the 8th house, and like I said, Aries is all about I am. You got Palace there, other people helping you, and you keep seeing that number 28. 28 is a number of reincarnation. Osiris was 28 years old when he died or reincarnated. So you got the Scorpio love, the Aries aggression. Palace is there helping out. Number 28, the reincarnation number. Number 13 is the number of the test, the purification. Also the serpent number. Because if you notice, when we did the card reading, it was a lot of feminine energy. You had Hanael, you had Jophiel, you had Ariel. Those are the 3 female archangels in the Archangel card deck from Doreen Virtue. So the feminine are very interested in this person. So now again, Saturn is all about maintaining order. And that's probably why this person talks about the 8th house so much. Because that's what Saturn is going to maintain order within the 8th house. Past life, reincarnation, soul matters, past life, money. That Scorpio energy, which is transformation, primordial energy, passion, secrets, mysteries. Going to the 8th house, Taurus is there, and that's his true north node. Excuse me, Taurus in the 9th house of higher self. Now, What do you know about Taurus? Well, Taurus rules the second house of finances and possessions, and that's where Libra is. More relationship, and Venus rules both Leo and Taurus. Tauruses are strong. They can be stubborn, but they can also be great partners if they really are committed. And the ninth house is your higher self, higher consciousness. They also say higher travel, philosophy, higher education. So he might be strong in those areas. Then it goes right to your 10th house, which is the house of career. And there you go again, Gemini in the 10th house. So this guy has definitely had some type of job in communications. There's no doubt on my mind. And we just have to remember, if you have a job where you're communicating, that still is communications. Some people might not see it that way. But if talking to others, because some people do just sit at a job. You can go to a job, just sit here and do this and then leave. Just report to a person here or there. That's not necessarily communication, but there are jobs where you talk to others. Because even you think of a bus driver, you may not consider a bus driver communications, but they are communicating to those kids on the bus, and their parents come, and they got to communicate to those parents. So that is a form of communication. It could be a dispatcher, could be a teacher, but it doesn't have to be that well known. But you can see that communication would be a part of this person's career. And also, he'd be because of curious, he would be doing with nurturing as well, healing again. And you see the number 22 again. And also, your 10th house can also be what the archangels call your project. If you have a twin soul matter, that'll be your project. And that will be why he's so relationship, because he was born for the relationship. He was born to say, hey, let's be together, let's talk, let's work this out, let's hug it out. He's that type of guy. And that can be a pain in the neck. Because the truth of the matter is, a female might say, hey, I've been single for a long time. Nobody holds my hand. I wish, I had somebody hold my hand. I wish I could find a man that will hold my hand in public. Or I wish a man would be more sensitive. And then they finally get it. And they be like, wow, this dude is way too, he's too sensitive. He's always wanting to do poetry or talk or buy flowers and stuff. I got other things I want to do. It's like feast or famine. And I heard Eve say that on her channel today, basically the same thing. She said it from a woman's perspective. I just said it from a man's perspective. Now, the 11th house is really the house of Aquarius. And if you notice, you have Juno in both your 11th house and your 12th house. Now I'm going by the correct count, because your 11th house says your 12th house says 11, but that's 12 if you go by the correct count. So now the 11th house is supposed to be about one of both twins saying, hey, we got to work this out. And when they do, they'll probably see more money, because you see Jupiter's right there. That past life money, Jupiter retrograde. It can mean past life money, it can be delayed money. But when they finally get to the point where they realize they're here for a purpose, and that's the whole point of the Cancer, which is the 4th house, where you have Sagittarius, which is the higher self, or the 9th house. And you have the Moon in the relationship house with Pisces, because they're all trying to bring these two together. So they're going to see money. They're going to see past life money coming as well when they realize that. And in the 11th house. So that's when they come together. Both of them realize we should do this for each other. And that's also the Juno's there, retrograde. But Juno retrograde usually implies past life infidelity. Now, the dysfunction is the 12th house, but Leo's there. And the reason why they put Leo there, because the 12th house is really a dark dysfunctional house. So Leo is, his ruler is the sun. So they put Leo there to brighten up the dysfunctions, to be courageous and go through the process. But Juno's there. So Juno can mean, not necessarily, but Juno can mean this person may end up with a person whose zodiac sign is either Cancer or Leo. So you can look over to the other one and find Leo. And again, we don't see, this is how it gets interesting, because that person's sun sign is a Cancer, but we don't have the exact time, because their moon sign could possibly be Leo. Like that moon might be closer to Leo. It's just further away from it, but it could be closer to Leo because we don't have the exact time. Whenever I see that, I always have to note it. But either way, that's saying sun sign Cancer at the 22. So there go your twin flame again. Also, they could possibly be in Aquarius, because the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. And as you see, this person's Aquarius is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8th house. Or it could be a Pisces, a person that's a Pisces, and that's this. I believe that's this person's 9th house. So you see the unique connection with Leo and this person's sun sign and Cancer. This person's sun sign is a Cancer, and Leo's right there, where that moon might be closer if we had the correct time. So you got to remember that. And again, you see the divine masculine is the sun, the divine feminine is the moon, and that's what you kind of see working out here. All right, so now what would this person have to work on? Would you take anything that's a retrograde? Pluto retrograde, okay, you have to work on soul matters. Get to know the 8th house very well. And see if you're really in the 8th house. Well, that's a free form you got, so it's going to have everything on the form. The natal chart, form, natal form. And then in the 1st house, and they have Uranus retrograde, which this person is all out healer. So Uranus retrograde is interesting in the 1st house because they're definitely a healer. But then they got that 22. So again, it doesn't necessarily mean them. That's what I'm going to try to tell you. Because this person, all around the chart, you saw this person was a healer. So you know they don't have a problem in nurturing and healing. They just don't. So when you see Uranus there with the 22, I believe they're talking about the other person. They're talking about the twin. Because you see the 22 right there. So they have to come into better cooperation with their twin. Go on to the next chart. The next one is Mars retrograde and Neptune. Past life struggles. So you don't want to argue. Like I finally learned that, because in this world, people want to argue. And don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of people that get turned on by that. Like I've learned to be really quiet and patient, because I've been walking the spiritual journey for a while. Some people don't like that. Like some women need to see you get whatever, a little upset or whatever. But I'm like, for what? Like I keep it 100. What good is I get upset and then maybe we last for 2 more weeks or a month and you still ain't going to be around? Like at what point are you going to realize it, grow up a little bit? You understand? Because this is a game. And that's why I say you hear the scholars like me. Whether people like that being said, I'm still going to tell you the truth. You hear scholars like me or Pharaoh Allah, people that really study, really put that work in. And you have people like Red Pill, Blue Pill, the brothers, the black magicians, the black magi, whatever they call themselves. But even he said it. They actually run this country on a 3rd and 4th grade mentality. That's why you have so many break up, everybody sleeping with everybody. Nobody has no responsibility. Okay, you wanna have unprotected sex, and then you get pregnant. Oh well, just get rid of the kid and just have an abortion. It's okay. This is crazy. So it comes a time when you have to stand up. We need leaders again. We need men that weren't afraid to say how they really felt, regardless. So we need that again. So that's why I don't do all that playing games. Like I make people like they don't want to grow up. But I don't give them no choice because I don't keep feeding into that nonsense they keep throwing. And that's what it is. Not going to keep arguing and bickering. So what he's got to learn is, even though he may feel a certain way about his feelings in the 3rd house, but he's got to learn how to communicate without the drama. And you have to give a person that leeway to go their own way. Because as you know, she's the one that's getting more into this because she's always been aware of this stuff. She knew about twin flames like 10, 12 years ago. I would have never. If not longer. So she's always known, but you got to get people, the universe got to work on them. And like I said, I can honestly tell you, unequivocally, whatever you want to say, my twin wasn't ready. Because all she was doing was looking negative. And that's all she could see because that's all you're looking for. You don't listen when somebody's talking to you. All you do is look negative and then you lie. So she wasn't ready. So I'm more, I'm not with that bull no more. I'm not with that fake phony. I'm not on 3rd dimensional stuff no more. That's why, believe me, I'm a dread the day I got to go back into 3D. So she'd have to want it. Like she'd have to get to the point where she wants to know her higher self because she didn't want to work with the process. I was right there. It was many times we sat right next to each other. Our schedules was in sync, almost perfect sync for over 2 years. And any one of them times she could have took a chance to grow up and work through this, but she chose not to. Even to have a conversation, she chose not to. And it wasn't until I had a meltdown. And finally told her I can't play this silly game. Like I didn't say silly, but I basically said I can't play this game with you no more. Blah blah blah. And that was after that she gave her first real conversation. That was after 2.5 years. It took me to fucking almost lose my mind. Then she gave a real conversation, but then after a day she went right back to stupid 3rd dimensional stuff. Ended up getting me fired. So that's how this game is really played on this planet. But like Eve E says, she says the same thing. But you got to let them people go their own way, and they got to grow at their own level. But what you can do is keep growing on yourself. And they're going to have to play catch-up to a certain degree. But all she has to do is really talk. I don't want her to play catch-up because I've been doing this for a long time. But she has to grow up and want to talk. And if she don't want to talk, it's nothing I can do about it. Because that's the first step to anything is talk. See, the wrong way is the sex. And this is why all these immature people, they run on this channel and run off this channel. Because all they want is some sex at the end of the day. Oh, where's my twin? Why are me and my twin having sex? And if they can't get the answer here, which is going to be you're going to have to go through the journey, they don't want to hear that. So they run to somebody else's channel to say some other stuff. And they'll keep running until they find a channel that says what they want to hear. But they're still not going to really be with their twin. And what good is it if you're going to be with your twin, have some sex, and then you're both going to go your own way? That's a waste of time. This is a journey. And it's a commitment. That's why we're in the 3rd house right now is communication house. Communication, commitment. That's your soul. That's who you're supposed to be with. But again, like when people are very immature, that's not going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. Until they change the way they look at life or whatever. Now we're going into the 7th house because that's the next retrograde. Which is Mercury. Past life in the 7th grade. Past life. So again, we are from the past life. And when you get with your twin, you may talk about stuff. You might start to remember stuff. And that's what the whole Neptune and your subconscious and your mind is about. And even Pisces, because Pisces can be connected to your subconscious. But they also got to learn to talk on things that are going on right now, not just past life stuff. And then all of a sudden, at that point, as soon as you get into, I believe that's the 8th house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the retrogrades stop, which is very interesting. And they stay that way until you get to the 11th house again, because again, that is in a relationship house, the Aquarius, when the two come together. And again, that's the past life money, but they may not see that past life money until they both start to work together. Then again, they may see it. I don't know. And then, of course, they got to deal with be faithful to each other, because that's why Juno is retrograde in the 11th and 12th house, because somebody was not faithful in a past life. So now we looked at his retrogrades and explained all that. The final thing we can do is just look at the one connection we saw was with Juno. Juno said that their relationship will either be with a Cancer or a Leo, and his sun sign is Cancer, and it is a possibility, not saying that it is, but there is a possibility that his moon sign, or her moon sign, she would know, because we had her, we did have her time, but we don't really have his, so that's why I said you still got to be real careful. All right. Her Gemini has a Saturn. His Gemini is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And if you notice, his Saturn is real close to that 7th house, which is the relationship house. Her good fortune is in Virgo, and his good fortune may have been in Virgo if we had the right time. You're just not sure, because it's one house over. You just don't know. Her Pluto is in Virgo. His Pluto is in Virgo. One, two, three, four. Her 4th house has Juno. 4th house is ruled by Cancer. And then his Juno was talking about Cancer as well. And then her sun sign being Cancer. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't look like, well, I know he doesn't. He doesn't have a unique Capricorn Cancer connection. She kind of does, only because her true north node is Capricorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a relationship house. So she has it, and me and her even went over to 2601. So she has a unique. And then if you notice, a Cancer has that ascendant at 22, and the sun right there at 22. So she has a unique thing. But like I said, she knew, like a lot of this stuff she knew is in her. And y'all have to understand, she's a very well adjusted, like as far as secular, she's got it made almost. She's got it made. So the fact that she's even thinking about this stuff is amazing. Because most people would have just said, hey, listen, I'm making money. It's not my fault my family crazy. I say this, it's not my fault my family crazy. I'm doing me. This is my life. I got a family to worry about. So the fact that she's even giving us a think. That's why I said you gotta let people go their way. Like, I'm not crazy with it. Like the twin flame, my twin flame experience was definitely one of the worst things I've ever experienced in my life. But I'm not tripping on the sense that everything will come to an end. It did come to an end. And I was always sent. I was always ready to be a spiritual person. So my twin would have to catch up, and I'm sorry that she was so far out, because if I had known, I would have been better prepared. Believe me, it wouldn't have went down like that. But there's a reason why they didn't let me know until it was too late. But everything happens for a reason. So again, on a natal reading like this one, we got as close as we could get. Um, but we had to get his exact time. And the honesty is, it may show a difference, but you can see connections. But the way it is right now, I can't see whether they're twin souls or not, or twin flames. All right, and she, well, we already went over her retrogrades, because I remember she didn't really have that many. See, like I said, even his Neptune, her Neptune and his Neptune is retrograde. If we had his right time, his Neptune might be exactly where hers is. See, that's why I'm saying you could see it more, but when you don't have that time, it's difficult. But we can get closer. You still get a lot of good information. And then again, it just ask the person, they could tell you as well. If you're, even if that, whenever y'all communicate, at least you had to start, you had the information, which is a good thing. All right. Like I said, once you realize this is a journey, you got to get past all that third dimensional cheapness. See, me, I'm not a cheap person. Like, I like giving money away to people who need it. I'm not just going to give my money to anybody. But I'm not cheap with money. You can't be cheap with this. This is real. This is like your life. And the fact that you deal with people that are that, whatever. I just try to work with people, whatever I can do. But you get some people that think you're supposed to help them with all this information and help them, and they don't offer nothing. So you can't be that way. You got to learn. Universal law number 9, universal law of attraction, the universal law. You got to give and receive. That's karma. Without karma, you're in universal violation. And this is what people need to worry about. You need to worry about universal law. You worry too much about the law of the land, but that person can't give you life. That person cannot benefit you in your hereafter. You're fearing the physical, but you need to be fearing the spirit. And once you get that through your head, where you fear the spirit, a lot of stuff that you think is a big deal is not that big deal. And more people will be more thankful that they have people like me and other people out here trying to help you. And I'm not trying to rip you off, because I could just sit back and just make a lot of money, and I've chosen not to do that. So that's why I'm real thankful when I see somebody like Eve, because that's a person who knew these things, but she found my channel and it helped her a lot. But now she's grown so much. And she says because of her twin flame situation, she has 5 businesses that she does. And she said she wouldn't have had those 5 businesses without her twin flame. So we are waking people up. We are helping people. But you have to stop being scared. And that's why she said, that's why they said, Ariel said courage. Alrighty. So in that way, it's all good news. So now I want to answer these angel questions. But give me a moment. And I reshuffle the deck. Put everything back in. So every card is back in the deck. Because we use a lot of those cards to get the correct time. So I wanted to do that whole thing over again. Okay, so this will be a new moon in Pisces for the solar eclipse that's coming February 22nd. Not February 22nd. Is it today? I thought it was the 26th. So let me just see what she's talking about. I think she just gave the date of this, and the reason why, because her show is tomorrow. This is Dr. Jen Royster. You can check her out tomorrow on her channel, or you can find out what her website is and go there, because she does a broadcast around 12 p.m. my time, but I think it's 9 a.m. her time. She's in Cali. Give me 1 second. So she didn't really give a whole lot of, let me see. Yep, it's February 22nd. February 26th, 4 days from now. And she's going to come in. She has a live stream, but she's also on YouTube. Her email address is radio@jenroyster.com. Radio@jenroyster.com. And you could be on her show. You could actually call in and you could talk to her on the show on live. So she has a show that comes on every Thursday at 9 a.m. California time, 12 p.m. East Coast time. All right. So we're now doing the Archangel questions. Give me a moment. So if you're listening, if you are a twin flame, or you think you and somebody's connected, or you don't fully understand it, well, let me advise you, it's from the universe, and try your best to learn more about it. There's a lot of videos out here. It's a whole lot of YouTube channels on twin flame, and just make sure you've given your twin a chance. Have you ever talked to your twin? A lot of people come to conclusions based on what you think. It's not about what you think. Now, if you see somebody and they're a little crazy or whatever, then you got to do what you got to do. But if you've never talked to somebody, you're just assuming crazy stuff about somebody. So, like, if you work with somebody for 2.5 years, and the only time there's been any weird stuff is when that person is dealing with you, then maybe you're the weirdo. Maybe not the person, because you're the only person really saying that. Unless you start talking trash and then other people start to join in, because that's how gossip is. One person starts it up, then other people join in because they want to be a part of the bandwagon. We know how gossip is. But I'm saying on the real world, if you've been with somebody for 2.5 years, you've seen all the times the universe has brought you to this person. Nothing ever crazy came out of nothing like that. Then maybe it's you. Maybe you have to calm down. Maybe you have to learn what your purpose is on this planet. And you got to learn how to communicate. And if you're a twin flame and you know you've done all you can in your heart to make it work and it still ain't working, then you can move on. You should just continue to grow yourself. Let the universe deal with that person. All right, we're going to answer these questions. I'm going to try to answer them pretty much just how she asked them. And the reason why I'm doing that because we've done natal charts with this person. We've been on the phone with this person. So we've already done a lot of information. So therefore, we're just going to ask the questions. Again, at this point, you'll have your worksheet. You can go right to the question if you want to type in information as I'm saying it. And that'll help you out a lot. Okay, you're asking, is this person, this male, your twin flame? I want to make sure I ask it the way you said it. All right, I'll be back with their answers. Keep in mind, all this is still on sale. This is the best time to get the information. All of this is on sale. You got to remember one thing. When I'm going, who you going to go to? Nobody's as accurate as me. Even EV said that. Nobody's as accurate as me. Nobody's helping you like I am. And nobody's giving you these prices that they give. Everybody's way higher than this. You're getting angel card readings. You're getting all that for less than just going out and getting yourself a real meal from a real restaurant. Less than all that. Now, so take advantage of the sales and get it, because what happens when I'm gone? And then there's going to come a time that you're really going to want the information. And believe me, nobody's going to do it the way I'm doing it, especially not for the price I'm doing it. All right, four cards pulled. Is this person her twin soul? First card is, wow, Chamuel. He is the soulmate relationship, and he has a dove. See, you have to learn about the dove, the esoteric dove, and the moon cycles, because Hanael came with the doves and the moon cycle when we asked what his time of birth was, and now Chamuel's coming with the moon cycles. And then you maybe, if Raziel came out and he said spiritual understanding, that's also another dove card. So you have to learn about the moon cycles and the doves, and that is in the description box, I believe. Well, no, you got to go to one of my earlier videos because I changed my description box. So go to one of the earlier videos, maybe 2 weeks ago. You can get it, but you can also get it right off your free natal chart, astrological chart that you're getting the whole form that's coming in your email. Chamuel says peace. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. So we're not going to have we're not going to have real peace until we understand what real love is. Not third dimensional love, but it's going to be a higher love. Next one is Raziel. Take back your power. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. And he came before because he's telling you to remember who you are, and your real power will not be. Your real power is not the secular world. That's what they're telling you. Next card is Chamuel again. Chamuel says, Beloved one, I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. And he's Taurus. And remember, Taurus was in that higher self section of your friend's natal chart. The ninth house is the higher self when the two come together. Said, I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. That is Chamuel. I want to thank the archangels. And you were asking about abundance. Well, you're seeing a lot of orange. These orange cards are abundance cards, financial abundance. And it was 5 cards drawn, not 4. This is the 4th card out of 5. And he came up earlier. When I first shuffled the deck, Uriel came up. Because they always tell you to do like they tell you when you pull a deck out, look at the bottom card. I usually don't do that, but he was at the bottom card. And again, it's orange. Again, Uriel is Aquarius. Just remember what I said about Aquarius in your readings, the 11th house. He says, brilliant ideal. Your idea is divinely guided. Please take action or bring your idea to fruition. So they're basically telling you the closer you get with your, and we already saw it in the chart. He's even in the 11th house. Jupiter is in his 11th house. So that's your money. So the closer you work with your twin and work with them, you'll see an abundance they're promising. And then they're telling you Gabriel shows up again. Gabriel's the same one that's trying to tell you that the reason why he's so sensitive, because he might have been, he's an angel, and angels can be androgynous. I keep telling you to study earth angels. See, you may have studied something that said earth angels is evil, and I don't know what you studied, but I don't believe that. That's probably garbage. The truth is, there are people here. Even Eve said on her newest video that there's humans and there's beings. There's a difference. Beings can understand twin flame and twin flame love and stuff like that, but a human can't. And we're here to teach them. So maybe your Gabriel comes up again and say nurture. He says, as you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important to you right now. So you gotta learn how to nurture him. Because like you said, and I'm like probably the most romantic person you'll ever hear from. But I know what you were saying. It can get difficult if you got things you want to do and somebody just want to love you, hug you all the time. But that person needs that kind of nurturing. So they kind of answered your question and gave you some advice on how to deal with the situation as well. Now we're going to move to the second question. Will you have monetary abundance in this lifetime? And they kind of did answer that when you unite with your twin, but we're going to ask that question again. I'll be back with their answers. Alrighty, will she have monetary abundance in this lifetime? First card pulled. Michael shows up again. He says, crystal clear intention. Be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. So he doesn't want you going back and forth. And he also has orange in his on the borders. And that color blue is always a color of honesty and truth. Second card, Kyle again, a Gemini card. He came up earlier. Clear audience. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind and from other people. He's got the orange too, and that's the twin cards. That Kyle is Gemini, the twin card. So again, they're associating abundance, financial abundance when you're with your twin. Sandalphon comes out. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environment. So again, if you have a dysfunctional family thing going on, be careful how you're around those people, because he's Pisces. Sandalphon is telling you to be gentle, and he's got green and orange, still showing you money, but they're showing you also have to not you got to be gentle. Don't worry so much. And don't let people, like I said earlier, don't let people come around you that all they want to do is start that crazy stuff. The next card is Chakra Clearing, Archangel Metatron, Virgo. Call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. Fifth card pulled out of 5, and it's Patience again, Libra, or Jophiel. She's out in the garden. She's patient. Your dreams are blossoming more readily than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. And you see the green in her card. You see a different color green with a Sandalphon Pisces. This is Pisces and Libra. But both of those colors of green always mean healing. And she's telling you that the nature, her color green is with nature, because she's out in nature, and that's that color green, but it'll still help with healing. And Jophiel will tell you to get outdoors. And they also tell you how to breathe. Raphael will come in green, and he'll also tell you to breathe. Get outdoor, get fresh air, breathe in, and learn how to breathe correctly. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Next card. Okay, now this is how we're going to add. I'm going to read it the way you wrote it, and I'm going to explain it. You said, will you begin your self-employed career in the areas of education, spiritual health, and fitness in 2017? So those are different areas, and if you start all those areas at one time, you're one bad. I was going to say mamma jamma, but somebody might find that offensive, so I'll just say you're one unique, one special person. If you can start all that in 1 year, I tip my hat off to you. But what I want to ask is, will you begin your self-employed career in the year 2017? That's, to me, just a little bit more realistic. All right, I'll be back with their answer. 5 cards pulled. First card, Indigo. Now listen, because this is going to be real important. Indigo and Crystal children. You have a bond with Indigo children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. And that's usually when they usually use this card to talk about your twin and let you know your twin is a sensitive male. But you didn't ask about twin, you asked about your self-employment. But it is Gemini in the 10th house of his house. So it may mean partnership with him. But it may also tell you that, because you already teach, there's a lot of money in writing books for children and doing children books and stuff like that. Just so you know, that's a field that a lot of people don't get into, but that's a very lucrative career. So that might be what they're telling you as well. Next card. Prioritize. Metatron or Virgo again. Focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. So we want to look to see where Virgo is on your chart, especially. On your chart, Virgo is in, give me a second, 1st, 2nd, 3rd house of communications, working with Pluto, because Pluto's in the 3rd and 4th house, but there go that relationship again. And you got the nurturing there as well. And then Virgo rules the 6th house of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that's your 6th house with Sagittarius, which is the higher self, which is the 2, which is that Neptune retrograde, just like he has Neptune retrograde. And then if you notice, real close to that is Jupiter. Real close to the border. So they may be associating him with you, because his ascendant is Virgo as well. And then his 6th house of Virgo is Aquarius. So they may be implying a partnership with him. Because I believe both of you are teachers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, both of those cards are Virgo. That blew my mind. Thank you, Archangels. I didn't even think. Both of these cards are Virgo. Both of these cards are Metatron. So how obviously can they be? So they're talking about a partnership between you and him. Virgo being the key. And Virgo is Metatron, sacred geometry. Also, see, Virgo, Metatron is the prophet Enoch. And when it came time for Enoch to die, the Bible tells you he was translated. But they say that Hanael came. And she said, okay, Enoch, it's time to go. And he went with her into heaven. And then in heaven, he became Metatron. And he's the sacred geometric shapes. But Metatron is deeply involved with the way things really work. Because Enoch was a friend of God. Got to remember that. So that's why I keep telling you about earth angels and stuff like that. That's very, very important to understand that. Now, my friend Evie, she says humans and beings. There's a difference between a human and a being, she says. But I'm saying there's people they're sent. Like me, I was sent. Like, this is not my world. There's nothing here that really turns me on, because it's all based on disloyalty. Disloyalty. It's all based on spur of the moment, enjoy it while it lasts, and then it's gone. Where I come from, it's not like that. We could never fathom. It's all truth, loyalty, love, and it goes on and goes on and goes on. The love is so powerful, I still feel it. So when I first came here many decades ago, when I saw what my family was doing, I said, man, this can't be my real family. Because no real family would ever do that to their own family and stuff. I couldn't believe the stuff that goes on this planet. And that's why I take time sometimes and study. There's tons of videos on YouTube about earth angels. And my friend, well, I shouldn't say my friend, but somebody I really respect is Angelica from Angel Creations. And she talked about earth angels and how they get here. And they'll be like, what the heck is going on this planet? They can't believe it. All right, next card. Because you asked about self-employment, but so far they definitely said partnership for 2017. And it's again Jophiel, the Libra. She says, clear your space. Get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use Feng Shui. Feng Shui is Fengshui. And you can study more about that online, as well as just use a search engine. We do research as well. That's offered as a service, but you can also study it yourself as well online. And that's Libra. So once again, that's partnership. Next card. Michael says it again. Remember who you are. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. So Michael keeps telling you to get away from that third dimensional stuff and go back to who you really are. You got a lot of lime green colors in this, which is outside. Metatron is orange. Some of Michael is orange. There's a little bit of orange in the Indigo Child card, a little bit, because you were asking about being lucrative as well. Lucrative. Fifth and final card for this self-employment 2017 is there go the counselor again. Azrael, your 10th house is Capricorn. You are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and occasions. So they're definitely talking about education, spiritual health, and Virgo is fitness, is health. So they're definitely giving you the okay to go for it. Okay, now I changed your question a little bit because you got to be as specific, especially a question like this one. Will she and her family achieve healing in this lifetime? We'll put lifetime because that's what you said, lifetime. So we'll make sure we say lifetime. And I'll be back with the answers. 4 cards pulled, which is the family number of the 4th house. Here's the first card. All is well. And again, I told you, you're dealing with a soul group. Just like I told you. That's Jeremiah, the 8th house of Scorpio, the soul group. Everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to. With hidden blessings, you will soon understand. Because even after Joseph met his brothers who tried to kill him, this is many years later when Joseph is now the second in command of the entire world. And now God takes these same murderers, his brothers, and brings his brothers to him. And when he met with them and they found out who he was and they thought they had killed him off and he was still alive, they were shocked. And they were crying and whatever, but they were also afraid because they thought it was payback time. And he said, what you meant for bad, God turned into good. So everything happens for a reason. When you get back to who you really are, you realize you came here with a purpose. You came here. You can learn more about soul groups and soul contracts and that people came here and to go through this stuff. Because most people say there's no way in the world I came here and agreed to this. But there's a chance that maybe you did. So that's what all is well. All in the well is the 8th house. The 8th house is the bottomless pit in the Bible. Revelation 9, the bottomless pit is the 8th house of the zodiac, and that's why you see the scorpion or Scorpio there. That's the divine womb or the mother's womb, and that's where you come out. Everything gives birth, and that's what's going on now. Everything's metaphysical. Next card, Ariel or Aries. Spread your wings. Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. So we did a lot of talking about Aries on this, on the phone and on your other reading. So that's Aries. And her connection is the 8th house of Scorpio. Next card, Raguel, is Sagittarius, the higher self, clairsentience. Notice your recurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. Next card, Hello from Heaven, is Azrael, Capricorn. Your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their hidden blessings, their loving blessings. So they keep talking about hidden blessings and loving blessings, and they both have this purple, this orange and this purple. Orange means finances, prosperity, and purple is royalty. Like I keep saying, if you're higher than what you may feel or know, but that's royalty, royalty. Like I said, I come from a royal bloodline. I still remember the giant tables and the giant cups. And I remember the libraries, because that's all I did then was study, and that's all I do now is study. So it's royalty. All is well. Jeremiah is the same color at the bottom as Azrael. Hello from heaven. Your loved ones in heaven. That royalty. And then the orange is that prosperity. That's that purple royalty. All right, she asks, will she ascend to her higher self in this lifetime? We'll be back with the Archangel's answers. Okay, 2 cards were pulled to answer that question. Alrighty. What I did, I asked that same question about healing terms, but I pulled these 2 cards. So I'm just going to see what happens, and then we will ask the question about the higher self. Compassion. I think I did it right. No, because what happened was, that was number 4. Okay, let me see. It says compassion. It says, soften your heart with respect to this situation and all the people involved, including yourself. See, what I like about the Archangels is we're not perfect. I'm trying to do a billion things at once, and that's what happens. Sometimes you lose track, but the Archangels know. So they're asking the question I asked, but I asked this question earlier. Will her and her family achieve healing in this lifetime, basically? So they're telling you to soften your heart, like to have compassion, because again, at the end of the day, they're only doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's what Eve says as well. They're in 3rd dimensional. And a lot of times, what happens is it's supposed to happen. A lot of times, what we think is a mistake is supposed to happen, because that's a really good answer. But it's also Zachariah, which is Gemini, which is also the twin flames. It's also the communication. The next card, Moon Cycles again. Moon Cycles is Hanael. Notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations, and capitalize upon these cycles. So again, a thought could be changed. A thought could be taken out of your mind. So you ask that question again, because if they have more they want to say to you, they will. And that's what just happened. Now, we're going to ask the question. Will you ascend to your higher self in this lifetime? We're going to ask them right now. Will she ascend to her higher self in this lifetime? 3 cards pulled. First card, Comfort, is Azrael. I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. Now keep in mind that is your Capricorn card, which is your 10th house, which has a medium Coeli, which is usually the highest point in the chart. And you see Chiron is right there with the healing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you see Aries. So what they're kind of telling you is, you just got to get a better grip, which you already know. You got to get a better grip on your Aries energy, because 2 wrongs don't make a right. Your family could be dead wrong, but at the end of the day, the more we learn, we're supposed to go through this. We were sent here for this, and we hate it. That's why I say Eve was just talking about the same thing. Eve. You see her on my channel right before this video. Your ego gets the best of you. So you just got to get the ego because you're sent to really help these people. Even if they don't appreciate you, don't support you, whatever, you're still sent to help them. Next card, Uriel, says you already know what to do. Trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. Uriel is Uranus or Aquarius, your 11th house, which is right next to your 10th house, and you have Taurus, the bull there. And Samuel is Taurus, the bull, but Samuel says that he's going to help you with your spiritual soulmate. Next card, the leadership card shows up again. Archangel Gabriel, it is time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. So this is Gabriel in his female form, and he's putting the trumpet down, the judgment trumpet. He's saying don't judge. And he has on orange again, a lot of abundance, but he also has on a darker color, which is it's like a darker, it's not really orange, but it really is like a darker color orange. But a lot of these cards have a lot of orange, so you won't really have problems with finances. And I think I said that before. I'm not sure, though. All right, that will conclude this reading. If anyone else has interest in any of these services you see out here, and now most of my services are listed in the description box now. Everything's on sale right now. I can't say how long that sale is going to last. We also have other services we offer. We also do research services. So contact us. The more you deal with reality, the better off your life will be. A lot of people want to deal in just the fantasy world. Where's my twin? See, that's somebody that's in the fantasy world because they don't understand twin flame. And that's why Eve basically said it. She basically explained what a twin flame really is. So the faster you get on a journey and getting a process, and the faster you deal with people who know what they're doing, like me and others, the better off you'll be. Like I said, if you want to learn the martial arts, the guy is not going to be going, hey, now when you throw a blow, make sure you don't hurt anybody. You wouldn't want to hurt any feelings. Love and light. No, he's going to show you how to fight. I'm showing you how to really do this. And it comes a point you got to tell the universe, I'm doing my part. You guys got to do your part. And some people talk to their twins. If you got that type of situation, that's great. Some people don't talk to their twins. Whenever you're dealing with an immature person that wants it their way, or if they can't have it their way, then they just give up. That's a very immature person. But real life is not like that. And they may be able to get away with that in other places, but that's why your twin flame comes, because you're not going to be able to get away with that with your twin flame. And you're going to keep fighting the universe because the universe is going to keep hitting you with this person. Even if you don't see this person, you'll still hear their name. You'll see people that look like them. You'll dream about it. All kind of crazy. If the universe is doing its job, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's why this guy is always disliking my videos, because he's in pain. He wants to keep fighting the process, and he's mad at me. I don't even know this guy, but he's mad at me because I know his twin. So he's got all these crazy thoughts going on inside of his head, and he's mad at me. I don't know this guy. I never talked to him, nothing. But he hates me because he won't accept the process. And that's what's going to happen. You'll almost self-destruct. Accept the process. You hear Eve saying, I wish I could be with my twin. I wish my twin would talk. But this guy is such a weirdo that he doesn't understand that. So he'd rather want to attack me. And he's only doing that on the internet because he would never do that in the real world. He would never get away with it. Not even 2 seconds would he be allowed to do that. But he can be an internet tough guy out here. So this is how crazy it can be. But I'm trying to help. But the best help you can get is the truth. And that's why I was sent to do exactly what I'm doing. And to put my trust in God and his angels in the realm of spirit, as opposed to putting my trust in the humans who will sell you out and do all kind of crazy stuff to you. This is Gat. You've been listening to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444, seen and heard on YouTube. God bless.